Well, the WRCs have been key to the development of mobile and mobile broadband. So it's the fact that the WRCs can get international agreement on harmonizing frequency bands. It's that international harmonization that allows mobile operators and mobile vendors to develop equipment which is low cost, high performance, and able to work across multiple markets. Without that, economies of scale and economies of scope, the cost of devices would be much more expensive. So really we go back to the way things were maybe in the 80s, where devices were much more expensive. Now we have maybe over 6 billion connections, so we're seeing that the large portion of the world, the majority of the world, has access to mobile devices. And that in large part has come through harmonization, standardization. And it's the WRCs that are particularly important now in carrying that forward. IMT is the family of standards which has been defined by the ITU. It includes a number of technologies. It includes UMTS, LTE, CDMA, a number of other technologies. It's been really beneficial because it allows harmonized frequency bands to be identified, core bands like the 2 GHz band, which means that now we have, over 1.7 billion users of IMT technologies. That's mobile broadband. So basically, when we're talking about mobile broadband, we're really talking IMT. There's nothing else. There's nothing else on the horizon. And the reason for that is the economies of scale and scope that the harmonization of the IMT system has brought. And that's due to the work that the WRCs do. The task is broken up into two phases. So at this conference we will need to agree an agenda item and a resolution about how to carry the work forward. And of course that's quite ITU tech speak. What does that really mean to people watching this on YouTube? It's really how you define taking the work forward. It's like the beginning of a multi-billion-dollar project. How do we make sure that we go from 1.7 billion users of mobile broadband IMT to 6 billion, 7 billion users in the year 2020, 2025? So this is the first step in a long journey, and the way it's crafted really sets that path. If we make the agenda item too difficult or too complex or too obscure, it will be hard to complete the work. Now we've seen from the last conference at 07 how difficult it was to assign some more spectrum to IMT, because spectrum had to be taken from broadcasters, from other services. So that process only gets harder because the rate at which the demand for mobile broadband is growing. We're seeing demand for data on networks, mobile networks, doubling every year. That's a huge amount. We've also seen the work done by the ITU back in 07, 06 is already 5 to 6 times less they're predicting than what's actually happened. So, the rate at which things are growing are much faster than we predicted. So it will be very, very difficult. So how we define this work going forward have a crucial impact on the end objective, which is ubiquity of access, equality of access for broadband via mobile. I hope that the way the work is defined will be clear, concise and focused, because the work will be so difficult. So we're hoping that work will be carried forward in the ITU study groups. They will be doing the work on identifying the candidate bands, identifying how much spectrum is needed, and doing the sharing studies between different services. That will be key. So we're hoping that a spirit of cooperation and a spirit of consensus building, we'll be able to decide on that so that when we get to WRC 15, the reports will be done, the studies will be done, the CPM text will be done, and that will give the conference at 2015 the best chance of agreeing this. Because the danger is that without the work being done, we won't get the best outcome. And of course that affects us as an industry, but at the end of the day it also affects economic competitiveness, jobs, social inclusion, all the things that mobile broadband offers.